Have you ever considered trying a multi-day hike on the Appalachian Trail, but just haven't been sure how to get started? If so, this video is for you, so stand by. Hey Hiking Nation, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I will review a specific multi-day hike agenda for the southern part of the Appalachian Trail. And at the end, we'll discuss 3 reasons why this might just be the perfect way for new hikers to hit the Appalachian Trail. Let's get right into it. My brother and I began our AT section hike adventure by meeting at the Nantahala Outdoor Center. Known as Hiker's Paradise due to its excellent amenities, the NOC, or NOC, is just minutes from Bryson City in southern North Carolina and is centrally located on the southern portion of the Appalachian Trail. They have free parking for hikers, an outfitter, a restaurant, and plenty of lodging options. We stayed in the bunkhouse complex, which has everything weary hikers need to recharge before hitting the trail. After getting a good night's sleep, we started hike day number 1 by getting a ride with Ron's AT Shuttles, who I have used several times. He's a fun guy and very knowledgeable about the trail. He shuttled us about 90 miles south to Dix Creek Gap, which sits at mile marker 69.4 from Springer Mountain's southern terminus. We started our section hike on March 25th in sunny 65-degree weather. My thought with the start timing and location was to get a bit ahead of the April Springer Mountain bubble. Water is plentiful this time of year, and in hindsight was never an issue for us like it can be later on in the year. All in all, a beautiful day for hiking. The highlight of day 1 was crossing the state line from Georgia back into North Carolina. Day 1 top line stats were 11.8 miles walked and just over 4,600 feet of elevation gain. You can see from this graphic that this day was essentially a steady climb. As we'll see throughout the hike, this day's elevation was nearly double that of the other 3 days. We camped at Muskrat Creek Shelter Campground, which was surprisingly full for March. In any event, our efforts for the day were rewarded with a glorious sunset that only the AT can deliver. Unfortunately, a guy camping nearby snored so loud that my brother and I both had to use our earplugs. Sometimes that's the way it goes on the trail. Day 2 began with a bit of a lower elevation trek through a long stretch of eerie groves before a steady ascent to the highlight of day 2, the summit of Indian Mountain, where we enjoyed panoramic and picturesque views. We hiked almost 13 miles on this day, but the elevation gains weren't nearly as intense as day 1. We camped at Carter Gap Shelter Campground, which was also quite full, and as our luck would have it, the very same loud snoring guy once again pitched his camp right by us. I would not make this mistake again. Today we were on the hunt for a stealth site. It was a cold night, and day 3's hike started out cold, mid-30s, but warmed nicely into the late morning, and as we readied ourselves for the climb to Albert Mountain Fire Tower, we encountered every hiker's 2 favorite words: trail magic. I wish I had caught the nice lady's name so I could throw her a shout out, but I did not. She was handing out Modelo, and we decided to save it for the Fire Tower view. This was my second time climbing this section, and the Albert Mountain climb still sucks, but the payoff view was just as awesome as the first time. Day 3 was almost 11 miles with moderate elevation gains aside from the Albert Mountain beast. As promised, we found a fantastic stealth site that a nice hiker listed on Far Out. Now this is the way to camp. We had our own private view with no one else around. You could see Franklin, North Carolina off in the distance, and at night the city's lights sparkled down in the valley. Always practice bear safety, especially if you're spending the night away from the established campgrounds and stealth areas. And just take a look at that sunrise view I enjoyed in the morning. Though short compared to the other days, day 4 was a relaxing hike through sparse forest, culminating in a climb to a beautiful creek on the top of our last mountain. From there, it was a sharp descent to Winding Stair Gap, where we would catch a ride into Franklin. I should note that we had originally planned to walk the additional 40 miles from here to the Knock where we began, but the weather had other ideas. A nasty system was moving east, so we decided to cut this one short. Final day hike stats were just under 5.5 miles and just under 750 feet total elevation climbed. Easy day all in all. From Winding Stair Gap, we hooked a ride with the Macon County shuttle service into Franklin, a quaint city that bills itself as hiker-friendly, and they live up to the billing. The food and beer at the Lazy Hiker was amazing. Finally, we want to shout out for the nice people at First Baptist Church downtown who feed hungry hikers an amazing pancake breakfast each morning throughout the months of March and April. Okay, hikers, now that you've seen a sample agenda in action, let's talk about 3 reasons why I believe this section of trail represents the perfect opportunity for new hikers to experience the beauty of the Appalachian Trail. So our first reason is accessibility. If you're looking to drive to the Appalachian Trail, it's very centrally located in the southeastern part of the United States. You can get to it relatively easily from Nashville and Huntsville, Chattanooga to the east, Knoxville to the north. And if you're coming from the west, Greenville, South Carolina, or Asheville, North Carolina. And finally, if you need to fly in, Atlanta is just south of the terminus, the southern beginning of the Appalachian Trail. And a lot of the shuttle drivers who work this part of the trail will actually come pick you up. So accessibility dovetails nicely into our second reason why this is a great stretch of trail for new hikers, and that's versatility in planning. Once you get to the trail, you can start from the beginning, or you can jump in at any of the regular gap crossings, which are typically state highways, and provide instant access to the trail. Many of these gaps also have parking, or the shuttle drivers can drop you off. In terms of resources for planning, there's 2 must-have resources when you're planning an Appalachian Trail trip. The first is going to be the AT Guide. With the AT Guide, you have all available information on the Appalachian Trail right at your fingertips. Now, it's kind of bulky to carry with you on the trail, so the second resource you're definitely going to want to have is the Far Out app. You can put this on your phone, take it with you, and this gives you real-time access to your location on the trail and how far you are from amenities such as water, campgrounds, overviews, and other points of interest. With these 2 resources, you can sit down ahead of time and tailor a customized section hike to your time, distance you want to walk, elevation climbs that you think you're ready to handle, shelter campgrounds, water sources, and gap exits with access to local facilities. And finally, that leads us to our third reason why this is a great section hike for new hikers, and that's the amenities. This 160-mile section of trail from the southern terminus at Springer Mountain to roughly Fontana Dam, which is the entrance to the national park, you'll have all the amenities you need to sustain yourself while you're out on the trail. If you go in March or April, you're going to find plentiful water. Water's just not an issue during this time of year. You'll find regular shelter campgrounds, many of which have privies, which are just outhouses. And the regular gap exits that I've talked about a few times are going to provide you access to the hostels, hotels, outfitters, grocery stores, and other resources available in nearby towns. And finally, let's finish this video with a quick note on safety. Some solo hikers might be concerned about whether it's safe to go out there alone. I've been out there several times in the spring, seen more solo hikers than I have groups of hikers. And they all seem to be having a great time, not really having any fear for their safety. And I think that's largely born of the culture on the trail, of hikers looking out for each other and taking care of each other. So go out and have fun and be confident that you can do it safely. So that's all for today's video. We'll see you guys next time.